Yo, 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 what's up? What's up? This your guy Ray Hanma, one versus a million. What's up with y'all today? How y'all guys doing? How you brothers doing? And yes, we are going to be talking about Michael John White, our brother Michael John White, Sensei John White, and some of the crazy things he said on DJ Vlad's channel. As it's known, it's no stranger that he's no stranger to DJ Vlad, being friends with him, or being over there on his platform. As as it seems when you go over there, he's been on there multiple times. And as we know of our brother Michael John White, he is a martial arts expert. I will say that. And he's a big time action movie star, especially in the martial arts world. And he's been in projects that didn't involve martial arts. But thing is, though, as I realize, you could be a legit martial artist as Michael John White is, and still say some of the craziest off the wall stuff, that is not really accurate, you know what I mean? So, and I'm gonna play this time a few videos, which I don't have to go around scrambling for because I have it all in one for you. All right, and thank you guys for coming in. Like I said, this is Ray Hanma, the Hanma Force, one versus a million. And we're covering some of the things Michael John White said on DJ Vlad. Now, so without further ado, let's get into it, brothers. Let's get into it. And shout out to all this glorious masculinity. So, and don't forget to like, share, subscribe on your way in. And don't forget to hit the Cash App, Ray Hanma. Cash App, Ray Hanma. So, let's get into it. Turn in. Yeah, let's kill that. All right, now let's go into it. But one of the things I wanted to play was what he said about Samuel Jackson and Denzel Washington. Check this out. Fair use. Oh, let me put up the fair use banner. Fair use. Okay. Hopefully it plays well.
I'll do this. I'll experiment with y'all and you. Yeah. Okay, who's our number one black actor?
Denzel, maybe?
Okay, now so you say Denzel. Everybody says Denzel. Okay? Now I want you to imagine something. Not hating on Denzel, because Denzel's the shit. Denzel, and then where's Sam Jackson? Somewhere down here? To you?
I mean, Denzel has Oscars.
Okay.
Samuel does not.
Okay, well, let's talk about...
So that's, maybe in terms of kind of a purist kind of view of it, who's the better actor? He's got more accolades, I suppose.
Better actor? Okay, let's look at that. Okay. So let's think about recasting Sam Jackson in roles that Denzel played. Let's experiment with that. Now, could Sam Jackson have played in American Gangster?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Could he have played
Training Day?
Training Day?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, definitely Training Day, of course. Yeah, he definitely could have played. I would say that in my opinion as well. You know, I would agree, yes, you know, that he could have played, you know, in a bunch of roles that or that he can play in a bunch of roles that Denzel Washington has played and did it successfully.
You know good and
do it
damn well he could have played in
Yeah,
Training
he
Day,
did
right? Could he have played? Well, couldn't have played Malcolm X.
No.
Denzel looks more like him.
Yeah.
Fences?
Yeah.
Damn right.
Glory?
Glory?
I don't know. I don't know about that one.
Okay.
I think Denzel was sort of uniquely qualified.
Okay. Now let's reverse it. What roles that Sam Jackson played could Denzel play?
Could Denzel play Nick Fury? Maybe. I can see it.
Pulp Fiction?
I think. Hold on. Could he be a Nick Fury? I don't know. It's possible Denzel could have been a Nick Fury.
No.
You start going down the Snakes on the Plane.
Well,
other guys. All those, you know. Now, when you start thinking about Samuel Jackson's work that nobody else could have played, don't you start doing this a little bit?
Well,
Yeah.
I actually looked it up. The top 100 stars in leading roles at the domestic box office. Number one is Samuel Jackson with a domestic box office of $5.7 billion.
Right.
With 67 movies.
Yeah. So
he averages $85 million a film.
Yeah. So the thing is, like,
Robert Downey Jr. is 2 at
So-
$5.5 million with 44 films.
Yeah. So when you think about it, when you say best actor, just like most roles that they could play with, I look at Samuel Jackson. He could play damn near anything. Anything. He plays comedy, drama.
He's right about that one though.
Like Broadway. Like there's nothing that guy can't do or hasn't done.
Well,
But
to be fair, okay, hold on. I see where you're going with this.
Yeah,
but to be fair, I wouldn't put him. Now, this is not a black actor, but is an actor. I wouldn't put him in the same level as a Daniel Day-Lewis, because I feel when Samuel L. Jackson plays a role, he's always Samuel L. Jackson, pretty much. Whereas Daniel Day-Lewis really transforms into a different person in a lot of films. Whereas Samuel L. Jackson, in the same way that Denzel is kind of always Denzel in a way, whereas Daniel Day-Lewis really transforms level as a Daniel Day-Lewis, because I feel when Samuel L. Jackson plays a role, he's always Samuel L. Jackson, pretty much. Whereas Daniel Day-Lewis really transforms into a different person in a lot of films. Whereas Samuel L. Jackson, in the same way that Denzel is kind of always Denzel in a way, Samuel L. Jackson is just always that same type of cool character, even when he's in Star Wars.
Right.
I feel like he was kind of still Samuel L. Jackson in Star Wars.
Yeah, see,
that's what I'm saying. I mean, that's my opinion.
No, I ain't arguing with you here, but like you just said,
for example, like I've never seen him play.
You just said Denzel's Denzel all the time, and
Exactly.
Samuel L. Jackson is Samuel L. Jackson.
Right.
Well, then there's one of those characters who can just be implemented in such a wide variety of movies, right? They have so many facets to who they are that can play comedy, drama, and be dangerous, and just kind of just absolutely radiant. But I'm gushing a little bit on it. But I'm just saying, when we just look at it, I'm just saying this: look at it a certain way, right? It's kind of like when people have been around a while. Sometimes we don't give them their flowers because us, we've been conditioned to be like, oh, that's the top guy. Denzel. I'm like, yeah, cool. I agree with you, but damn it. in my mind, Samuel L. Jackson is the baddest cat out there.
I mean, Samuel
And,
Jackson.
You can talk about,
Hey,
Daniel
damn
Day-Lewis,
right about
but
that
I'm going
one.
to run you down the whole damn thing too. When did we laugh at Daniel goddamn Lewis?
No, but Daniel Day-Lewis. But for
So,
example,
I mean, can he do
Daniel
that?
Day-Lewis could transform into like a Lincoln. I don't think that Samuel L. Jackson could transform into a totally different person where you
Yes, he
forget. Name me one movie. And listen, I'm a Samuel L. Jackson fan. I'm just saying,
Shit,
name me one film where
he
you forget
tripping
it's
on that.
Samuel L. Jackson.
DJ
They're similar
Vlad
to me, but you're not going to agree. Because the character he plays in Django is not anything that I've seen of him before.
Okay, that's true.
Right. So I mean, there's a lot, because I've paid attention to Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
There's there are things, because I mean, he's Coach Carter. He played. Samuel L. Jackson could be a physicist and a crackhead.
Yeah, he played.
Now,
remember the
until Daniel Day-Lewis shows me that, I'm still going to put Samuel L. Jackson up here.
Exactly.
He played the villain.
I agree with him.
If you start,
I'll give you that. Maybe I was a little too hard on him. Okay,
but that's the nature of things.
Yeah,
because it's how people are branded. It's the conditioning, because people just are so used to Samuel L. Jackson because you've seen him a million times.
Right.
But that's a bad motherfucker. That is the baddest motherfucker out there. In my opinion, I don't see nobody like, even with your Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah,
I'm
he's
like,
tall as hell in person also. I remember I met him on a plane once.
He's no taller than me. He just looks tall.
He got to be about 6'3".
No, he's not.
How tall is he?
You can find this out. He's probably 6'1". I'll give Samuel L. Jackson 6'1".
He's 6'2". Okay, he's the same height as me.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
I remember, usually when I meet actors, they're usually shorter. So when I meet a tall actor, it's always like, I probably give him an inch or two.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it's the nature of things. Hey, Busta Rhymes has been around for forever.
Yeah.
I think that's the baddest dude.
In hip hop? Yeah, I mean, he's dope.
Yeah, but a lot of people wouldn't think that right off, because he's been right there. Yeah. But on all the criteria levels, he is at the top of, if you want to go lyrically, you want to go, vocally, if you want to start doing all the accolades, I don't think there's anybody who hits all those points like Busta Rhymes.
Yeah, I mean, he even does pop music and jumps back. Yeah, no, I feel you.
Yeah, but
I feel you.
Yeah, but
But yeah, but regardless, man. Okay, regardless of it, he's a very good, diverse.
Are you looking for an easy way to view and manage your mail and packages from anywhere, 24/7? Well, at I Postal One, we can.
I don't know why this played, despite what I've said. Okay. But yes, he's a great all-around actor, Samuel Jackson, to where he can play multiple roles. He can go from one role to one whole character and make you believe it. That's actually him, and then flip to another character, do the same thing. And, and those are the kind of people that Hollywood needs, especially when it comes to different female characters. How they use women, to have them to play such sexy, sinister roles, and then having them switch from that to playing a role of a good woman. I don't want to say good woman, but a woman who's not all on some super crazy evil shit. So, but let's go into our next video real quick. And shout out to our contributors as well. and especially those who are anonymous who did donate, and those like our brother, one of our bros in the Hanma Force, Roast Master 1. Thank you, dear brother. Appreciate you, bro. Thank you for your contributions, bro. I appreciate you, man. So I appreciate you more than you know, brother. Thank you, man. Thank you for your contribution, bro. I appreciate it. And definitely let me know if you guys, especially you, brother Roastmaster 1, and any of you guys that come through and looking at this, that you would like for me to cover certain topics. Go ahead and put it in the comment section, and I'll decide on whether or not, if I want to cover it. But let's go into the next video, because we got to get back to our dear brother BGS Itmore. Shout out to him. Shout out to big bro BGS Itmore. Check him out. Subscribe. And also check out Michael Jai White's channel too as well. The real Michael Jai White. Basically he can turn into being your sensei. You can look at it, teaching you how to punch, kick, and all that good stuff. And on his new project coming out, his new movie. And multiple other stuff. So you'll see him train with other people like Francis Ngannou, and also he trained with our boy Johnny Bones Jones. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So let's get into our next video that he did with DJ Vlad. And again, fair use. And this is what he said in regards to our boy Francis Ngannou, who's a UFC. Who's
all right, let's switch gears for a second.
PFL.
There's a big fight coming up. Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou. Now, he's actually coming from the MMA side into the boxing ring. How do you think this is going to end up?
Oh, I hate to say it out loud, man, because Francis is my man.
But
no.
You think Tyson Fury is going to tap him up, huh?
Yeah. It's Tyson Fury has footwork. He's a tall man with footwork. That's hard to beat. There was a man named Muhammad Ali who was a tall man with footwork. You know how hard it is to hit a guy like that?
Yeah, I actually looked it up. Tyson Fury's 6'9".
Yes.
Woo.
And if you have to punch up, it is very hard to have power up there. Okay.
I mean, okay, bro, but then again, you got to look at too, like, of how hard our boy Francis Ngannou, our brother Francis Ngannou, who you should be rooting for, you say he's your guy, so you should have like a little bit more faith in your brother, but I know still when it's like when you have it in your mind, certain things are facts, or they're facts. There's nothing you can do about it. But still, bro, like, come on, man. Have you guys seen how hard Francis Ngannou? Go back and look to see how hard Francis Ngannou hit Alistair Overeem. How hard he uppercut him. You know what I mean? So, yeah, and that man went through rigorous training. He had a whole, he had a struggle coming up, and man, just, dude, nah. So, yeah, you may have punched up to a degree, but damn it, he ain't that far tall, damn it, than Francis Ngannou. So, but hey, all you can do is punch your body, boom, break him down, have him come down, and then just give him one of those uppercuts that he gave Alistair Overeem and many others. Boom! And shut him down. So, yeah, come on, let's go.
Tyson will probably try to let the few rounds go. I think he's a really nice guy, and he's a showman.
He's a nice guy.
Yeah, because I mean, it's the footwork thing. I don't see, boy. And if Francis gets tense at all.
Yeah, because I looked it up. Francis is 6'4". Mm-hmm. He's not a short man by any stretch of the imagination. He's taller than me.
Freaking tree, man.
Right, but there's still 5 inches between the two.
And a long reach advantage.
Oh, right, yeah, his arms, I think. Fury's arms are like orangutan arms. Like, it's crazy.
Fury's been doing his arms this long, child. Man, it's I get your money, Francis. I ain't hating. I mean, because this is at the end. It is a happy ending. It is a triumphant story because where he left with the UFC, and to see him, making this kind of money, wonderful.
I mean, have they run out of heavyweights for something like this to happen? To have to go into MMA and pull someone out?
No, man, dude. I think you got the Paul brothers to thank for this. Yeah. I said I was applauding what they were doing from day one. What people want to see, cutting through the red tape, So, it is what it is, man. It's spectacle, and somebody can hate on it, but you're gonna tune in.
Yeah, and I mean, Tyson Fury is such an anomaly because he's just not built like a professional athlete, and yet he is one of the top professional athletes in the sport.
Yeah, it frustrates me. I always think I'm kind of a boxing nerd. I don't understand why heavyweights don't step up technique wise. A lot of heavyweights still stand there and slug, kind of toe to toe. And when you have people like Ali and Holmes, and with movement,
I agree with him on that one.
In a bigger frame, but then
I agree with him on that one.
Is these athletes that were big, that used their size to their advantage, or would tie people up.
Yeah,
like the Klitschko's, and Lennox Lewis still, he still had skills, couldn't go backward very well. But
I mean, isn't Evander Holyfield kind of sort of in the middle of that? Someone who's very athletic, very built, but also has a lot of technical ability.
Well, yeah, Holyfield was basically a cruiserweight.
Yeah, that bulked up. Yeah,
and he had to bust ass to do something in heavyweight. Talk about a heart, man. That dude had more heart than 3 people put together. But he had to work hard. But yeah, man. So, I'm talking about the really big heavyweights. We've come up with like 2 decades of just people just not putting in work.
Yeah, I mean,
you're right about that. People not want to put in that work.
Boxing is no longer in the heavyweight division, and it hasn't been in a long time. And when you think about boxing, it's known for the heavyweight division. That's really what people look for because that's where the knockouts happen.
Yeah.
It's very rare that you see a heavyweight champion get a decision. Usually, they take the belt off the guy's back.
Yeah, and it's very rare to see a heavyweight match that you don't fall asleep on. Not a whole lot of personality out there, and that's a big component. A lot of big guys, if they're athletes, they're going toward football. They're doing something, without getting their brains beat in. Just, I think that era of the big athletic boxer who just wants to win and just smother you and whatever, I think that killed boxing.
Well, yeah. Don't forget, like brothers like Lennox Lewis, who was a technical boxer. Who used to move around and shit. So one of the ones that beat Mike Tyson, I believe. So yeah, we're gonna go over to our next one real quick. Oh, didn't mean to do that. What's I'm glad you showed me that commercial. Okay, so I can go ahead and go to this one. And this is another one too, another crazy thing that Michael Jai White said. But from the last video that we just played, I mean, he's right. I believe that, a lot of heavyweights could, should be doing more, putting in more techniques and shit. But the whole just standing there slugging out and just, trying to smother the other, that just, that not only that killed boxing, but they're starting to become redundant to me in the UFC. Cats now want to apply technique and shit. Now I like it when I see a motherfucking heavyweight motherfucker, who's fighting, as I've seen a couple of days ago, kick the dude with a high kick, high left kick to the head. Even though dude tried to call himself blocking it, but he hit his wrist, which slammed into his head. Boom, knocked him out. Oh man. It seems like a lot of cats too in there need to work on how to block a kick, a high kick coming to you to the head. Now, in my martial arts training, I was at least taught that basic. But let's go into this and what he said in regards to Tupac.
Here's one thing you need to do before buying it.
Nope.
Well, in our last interview, you made some comments about Tupac that people are upset over. You said that he was, if you look at his old high school interview, he was somewhat effeminate.
I said, dare I say effeminate? Yeah. I imagine people were going to, because I thought you had the ability to show the clip.
Oh yeah, no, I don't.
Yeah, explain
copyright issues. So yeah,
exactly.
But people can look it up. It was a very common. That clip.
Yeah, but if somebody want to hate, they're not going to look at it.
Fair use again.
So it's just like if you look at the interview, the whole point is, I mean, like, here we are. We're talking about the human condition. We're talking about imagery. We're talking about that. I find that interesting. So I find it still to this day just infinitely interesting that the person that did that interview did the role within 2 years that painted him as a completely different, but convincingly different person, And so it's just like, look at that and make up your mind for yourself. And from even interviews that I've seen here, the consistent thing that people always say is that, well, there was, there's a dichotomy, like he like that there was a Tupac who was not gangsterish in certain scenarios.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's basically what I'm saying. It's like there's a lot of smoke and mirrors, and of course he's a hero to a lot of people. But I look at the tragic part of that as well, because I happen to know that when there are young people trying to develop who they are, and when they're very impressionable, they are dissuaded and persuaded by gangster culture that they lock into, right? And they will rather go toward picking up a gun than picking up a book. This is real. And for my parents out there, and just anybody in general, I go, okay, of course, Tupac, that you might see in that interview, there have been people who absolutely influence him to be that way. And my thought and several people's thought is that's not who the man was.
Well, you know what's interesting? I remember I talked to someone that was close to the whole, intimately close to Tupac for a very long time. And they were telling me something interesting because at first Pac didn't know who his dad was because his mom wouldn't tell him, right? And that whole story behind his dad is kind of a real clusterfuck to begin with, because Afeni was married to this guy in the Black Panthers. As she's going through her trial, one of the drivers assigned to her from the Panthers, she started to sleep with him during the course of the trial, with her thinking she's probably going to go to prison forever, like whatever, fuck it. She ends up getting pregnant by him. When she gets, when she beats the case, she tells her husband that it's not his baby. So her husband leaves her. She has the baby. The husband dies, gets killed in some sort of crazy situation. So then she ends up getting with her ex-husband's brother, Mutulu Shakur. Right? And this is where the whole Mopreme Shakur situation happens, right? Then Mutulu gets caught with the whole killing of a police situation. He goes to prison, which he recently got out and passed away. But the point of this, at that time, Pac still didn't really know who his real dad was. And if you ever watch the movie, there's this whole part of the movie where Afeni was in a relationship with this street hustler in Harlem, who was played by D. Ray Davis. Did you ever see the movie? Okay, so anyway, so she was hooked up with this street guy, right? And he kind of was like a father figure to Pac. And the whole thing about it, the way I had it described to me, was that they kind of knew that wasn't his real dad, but they ran with the idea that that was his dad because they all liked the idea of Pac's dad was this hustler. You see what I'm saying? And Pac kind of clung to that.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, my dad was a hustler and I'm from the streets and stuff like that. When the reality is, the dad was really a Black Panther who was a truck driver who really had a whole family, of his own, and he had cheated on him, and that's how Pac came around. But the story sounded better that the dad was the hustler as opposed to the truck driver.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And that's, I think, part of the DNA.
No, that's bullshit. That she kept, Tupac away from his real dad. That's fucked up. Because if he was around his real dad, we all know that Tupac wouldn't be the Tupac that we know of him to be. And possibly, hell, it's argued that he may have still been living right now. So she was wrong and treacherous for that, and evil for that.
DNA of Tupac, of let's create these sort of things that look really great on paper, and I could, talk about them in my music, and I could play this sort of figure.
She's a baby mother terrorist. Shout out to Mr. Palmer.
But not all of it is always true. See what I'm saying?
I think the majority of these things are not true. Right? A lot of it's just the nature of folks is that, you may be an artist, you may have this talent, and you can reinvent yourself. That's a natural actor's type of thing. It's like natural performer type of thing. If we look back, there's a lot of people who presented themselves one way, and we find out what's really, what they're really like. Of course, everybody would think that, Snoop Dogg was a stone cold gangster at the beginning, but it'd be silly to think that now.
Yeah,
because he's presented who he is, and not that he doesn't understand the lifestyle or whatever, but you wouldn't think that he's some gangster, gun-toting, hidden, pistol whipping type of people that you might have thought when in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Neither would you think that about Ice Cube and so many other people that you probably have a different assigned image of when they first started. Well, just look at it. I just go, okay, the person that in the interviews of Tupac when he was, 2 years earlier, what do you think he was making that up? There's no reason for him to make that up. And that clearly was not a street person. I mean, if it messes with your imagery and your hero, what grow the fuck up. Grow the fuck up and know that it's human nature. And and put that in your cap and go, oh, interesting. You know what I mean? Because we're all human. That's what connects us all.
Still, yeah, I was muted. Thanks. So sorry, guys. But yeah, like I said, man, I mean, there's guys may have been, acting a little feminine shit, but they try to turn, street and shit, put on this hood persona or whatever, and it's the same with a lot of them, Ice-T, Ice Cube, hell, even 50 Cent, went from the bulletproof vest to a suit, as we all know. So, I mean, but Tupac, he didn't have a chance to turn back into being turn into what Ice Cube has done, because it's possible where Tupac may have went to the Ice Cube route with it. So that's what I believe on that one. But also let's get into another video clip of our brother of talking about Michael John White. One of the things too that he said, and this is the last one. This is the last video clip, and this is basically where it to explain how this guy he's given, and shout out to him. I think his name is his channel name is Ranton, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and clip his link to his channel and put it in the chat. But he's giving some accurate accounts of what actual Shaolin monks are, and explaining and going through of how Michael John White is getting a lot of stuff wrong when he's talking about like martial artists when it comes to such as like in particular like the Shaolin monks. So we're gonna go into that, which is awesome. I thought it was pretty interesting because I'm like, hey, no one's above reproach, I may agree with you, hey, on most things, but not everything. That's everybody. So everybody should be like that with one another. Therefore, because it's how we can edify one another. It's how we can help each other grow. Because we'll present things that one another, that we've never been exposed to, that we may like or may not like. Hey, that's okay. But let's go into this here. Okay. Now, fair use. Huh. Did it show it yet? Oh, I may have to. Okay. All right. So let's get to it. Hopefully it plays smoothly. Fair use, fair use.
You were taught by a Shaolin monk is the equivalent of saying, I was taught by a knight of the round table. Same time period. You know how ridiculous that would sound.
I don't think you understand how ridiculous this sounds. The actor Michael Jai White has done 2 interviews where at some point he talks about
let me do this.
The history and the culture of the Shaolin Temple. He's very sure of himself, but
let me do this, y'all.
Unfortunately, both of them are.
Let me do this. Let me go ahead and. Okay. And reshare. I have to reshare this. Okay. Yeah, because it was playing smooth. Yes, playing smooth. Because, yeah, we got to get into this. I was like, oh, shit. All right, again, fair use. This is from this guy. His name is Ranton, Ranton. And shout out to him for this correction, for correcting our good brother Michael Jai White.
Are riddled with false information. But if there's one thing I enjoy, it's fact-checking people on Shaolin-related content. We'll go through his claims point by point so I can thoroughly address each of them. Obviously, I won't go over everything since some of the things he says are indeed accurate, and I encourage you to go watch the original clips. I put the links in the description box below. Let's check it out.
The Shaolin Temple was burned down like 400 years ago. The end.
This is probably his most embarrassing claim because it is so easily refuted. He himself recommends that
you can Google this shit. No, is that easy?
Indeed. Why didn't you? A simple Google search would have taught you that the last time the temple was set on fire was in the year 1928 by a warlord. Not 400 years ago, but less than 100 years ago. Both of these numbers may seem like a long time ago, but the difference is huge. You can still to this day find pictures of people who themselves have been trained by the monks in the temple before it was burned in the year 1928. I'm sure many of you know that China at the time was embroiled in a civil war, and there were generals on both sides who underwent martial arts training in the Shaolin Temple. A very notable person includes this guy right here, who after the Civil War became a police at the time was embroiled in a civil war, and there were generals on both sides who underwent martial arts training in the Shaolin Temple. A very notable person includes this guy right here, who after the Civil War became a police officer in Taiwan and the chairman of the Taipei Chinese Kung Fu Association. He died in 2013, 7 years ago. But back to the original claim. During the temple's history, it was ransacked and destroyed several times by bandits and emperors because it was so deeply involved in political matters. Michael Jai White is being negligent with the exact dates and numbers because it furthers his point of insinuating that the Shaolin Temple lineage has been broken and everything Shaolin related today is fake. There's some truth to that, but it requires nuance, and we'll get to that later.
That's why you don't see Shaolin monks in a car.
This is a very odd claim. If the Shaolin Temple was burned 400 years ago, which we just learned it didn't, of course there would be no cars and also no photographs. Now, in reality, the temple burned down in 1928, but at that point, there were also essentially no cars in China. But guess what? There are actually a few pictures of the Shaolin temple during the 20s. But just for the sake of argument, let's imagine that the temple didn't burn down at all. You most likely still wouldn't see pictures of monks and cars, because cars didn't become mainstream in China until the late 90s, especially not in Henan, which is not the most developed province.
So the truth of the matter is the Shaolin temple gone, right?
This is a little bit nitpicky, but I do want to mention it. After most of the temple was destroyed, there were still a few monks present there. Those monks and what was left of the facilities were then further destroyed and displaced during the Cultural Revolution. But at no point was the Shaolin temple a completely abandoned ruin. But fair enough, I grant him, it was basically gone.
But then they reconstructed a replica.
I think that's a very misleading statement. The Shaolin temple wasn't demolished to the extent that there was not a single trace left of it, and they rebuilt a generic Buddhist temple that had nothing to do with the original. It has been destroyed in large parts and rebuilt using a lot of historical sources. Of course, this wasn't going to be a perfect recreation. The temple that exists today is not a fake. It's the actual Shaolin temple. Once Notre Dame has been rebuilt, has it become fake? No. No, it's been repaired. It's like saying every time you renovate something, it's a fake. I understand that replica doesn't exactly translate into fake, but I believe that that's what Michael J. White is alluding to when he's saying,
everybody kept going, hey, where's the Shaolin temple? And they're like, Chinese people like, there's no Shaolin temple. It should burn down 400 years ago.
Of course, as the temple becomes more influential and wealthier, they will expand and have been massively expanding on halls, training grounds, statues, etc. But the same happened centuries ago. The Shaolin temple historically went through phases of growth and decline, like any other place in human history does when it exists for over 1,500 years. All of this does not make it fake. So I don't get his point here.
Later in 83, they had like townsfolk dressed as Shaolin monks for tourism.
I would really love to see sources on that. And I say that not to discredit him, but because I could picture this being the case. Maybe. It's not unimaginable to me that as global and national interest for Shaolin culture re-emerged, they were overwhelmed by it and they kind of were looking for quote-unquote placeholders. Sadly, as we have seen, Michael J. White is not an authority on Shaolin history, so this might as well be completely made up. Also, as I thought about this a little bit more, it seems increasingly unlikely to me, because think about it for a moment. Dressing up townfolk and putting them into the temple doesn't make sense for tourists. Did they just stand around and look at trees? I mean, monks hold Buddhist ceremonies. There are tons of pages of mantras that have to be learned. There are Buddhist traditions to be upheld. How do you make random townfolk quickly do all that for tourists? Are there anecdotal instances of people pretending to be Shaolin monks? Absolutely. This still happens to this very day, and I have met plenty of them. But this being a systemic effort by the government, like I said, I would be interested to see a source, and then I'll gladly change my mind.
And around 85, they started having actual Kung Fu people portray the Shaolin monks.
I don't know about you, but this is getting really absurd now. So let me get this straight. First, they got townfolk to imitate monks. Then they quickly got a bunch of Kung Fu people to imitate monks. Listen, here's the fact of the matter. Due to the repeated destruction of the temple, a ton of historical data, manuscripts, paintings, sculptures have been lost permanently. Monks got displaced and some killed. Yet the knowledge didn't disappear in its entirety. This is what a lot of people out there don't understand. The Shaolin temple didn't invent martial arts. Shaolin Kung Fu is also not a system or a style of martial art. Shaolin is the name of a monastic order that over a millennia served as a hub for Zen Buddhism and martial artists from around China and beyond to come to and share their experiences. I will explain this in more detail in a future video. But for now, just know this. If the Shaolin Temple was destroyed, then unrelated people come to it, rebuild it, start to practice Zen Buddhism and martial arts, they have effectively become Shaolin monks, period. So when Michael Jai White says...
So these are not actual Shaolin monks, huh?
No, of course not.
He is just wrong, plain and simple. Shaolin is not a bloodline.
But then Westerners kept coming in here going, we want to learn from the Shaolin monks. And it's like, okay, pay here.
This is very important. The extent to which the Shaolin Temple has been commercialized and repurposed to fit a bigger cultural agenda of China has been discussed at length, and rightfully so. Absolutely, there are plenty of things you could and should criticize the temple for. You see, that's the difference between me and all these holier-than-thou masters out there who pretend like they're in touch with some sort of cosmic spiritual energy. I've seen monks from the temple drink alcohol, eat meat, take drugs, see prostitutes, scam people, and a lot worse. There's some absolutely despicable stuff going on there, and it must be called out. But that doesn't mean that you then get to lump them all together and call them liars and imposters, because they are not. There are also amazing and dedicated people there. I always say I've met the worst people in my life and the best people in my life during my 3 years at Shaolin. You know, I've heard the arguments that the temple and its representatives and the abbot give for why it's become so modernized. They want to do whatever it takes to spread Shaolin culture around the world. At what cost? I personally believe in the values of isolation and introspection, and for me the temple has become too worldly. When in my eyes, I always saw Buddhism as cutting yourself off from worldly things. But I'm not a Zen scholar, and I'm not going to tell them how to run their temple, especially because I personally benefited from them opening up their doors for international students. However, if we take a closer look at the temple's history, whether you like it or not, it's often been a very active place, even engaged in warfare. Some emperors in the past have attacked it, some have visited, some have gifted land and sculptures and statues. In order to have a beautiful monastery, you need money and or connections. That hasn't changed.
Well, these people are no connected to the Shaolin monks. You were taught by a Shaolin monk is the equivalent of saying, I was taught by a knight of the round table. Same time period, right? You know how ridiculous that would sound.
I don't think you understand how ridiculous this sounds. I was looking forward to talking about this so much. It is hilarious on how many levels he's wrong here. So he gets his own false information mixed up. According to legend, the Knights of the Round Table and King Arthur existed maybe 500 or 600 AD, and he claims the temple burned down 400 years ago, which make it 1600 AD. Now that's a difference of about 1000 years. And when he says
it's roughly the same exact period,
it just makes me cringe so hard. Does everything that's more than 100 years ago sound like Middle Ages to you? Just think about how differently we lived only 50 years ago. Yet Michael Jai White makes it sound like 300, 500, 1,000 years, it's all the same. One's in Europe, one's in China, no difference. It's absurd. And by the way, the Knights of the Round Table, King Arthur, Excalibur, and the magician Merlin are based on myths and folklore. Historians agree that these most likely aren't historical figures, but based on sagas and legends. Is the next level Michael Jai White saying Harry Potter happened way back when? Stop. To be fair though, a lot about the history of the Shaolin Temple is also based on legend, and historical data is limited, and a lot of it, unfortunately, has been destroyed. But there's still enough evidence to prove that it's undoubtedly an ancient temple that's been of varying importance throughout Chinese history. But let's go even deeper. Let's pretend that all of the stories about the Knights of the Round Table were true. Yes, we're going down the rabbit hole. What do they have to do with Shaolin monks? They didn't run a monastery. They didn't exist over a period of 1,500 years. They didn't religiously meditate and conserve and spread martial arts. They weren't Buddhists. They weren't Chinese. What are you talking about? I think we got through all the claims now. Listen, the misinformation being spread here is only one side of the problem. But what's way more annoying to me is the underlying behavior that causes him to say all these things. Michael Jai White knows he doesn't know. Deep down inside, he knows he doesn't know. And he's not an exception. In fact, a lot of people out there think they're so smart debunking the temple when in reality, they just want to write something off that intrigues and confuses them. They have zero connection to it. They have no chance of getting to know it. So just mock it. Next time you see somebody talk about the Shaolin Temple with such conviction, ask yourself, how does he know? Did he read an article? Did he watch a movie? Did he spend a week there or talk to someone who spent a week there? There is no reason to lie about the Shaolin Temple. This goes for both sides. Stop idealizing it. Stop slandering it. I know you guys think it's cool to be an expert on this mystical place, but expertise does not fall from the sky. This video was brought to you by Heated Shaolin Moments. Michael Jai White then goes on to talk about Jackie Chan and Chinese Wushu, so I would recommend that you go instead watch this video by my buddy Accented Cinema, which I'm a proud Patreon of. He will give you some great insights in traditional Chinese Kung Fu. And also check out this video by Monkey Steals Peach. He interviews a real Shaolin master and he explains where Shaolin Kung Fu comes from. With that being said, follow me on Instagram and Twitter. And yes, Anthony out.
Yo, what's up? Oh man. Yeah, hey man, thank y'all for coming through. Oh boy, that was that was something else. Oh shit, let me take this off. Oh man, that was something else. Okay. Michael Jai White, man. See, now I'm thinking, man, it's clear. He laid it out that you're basically saying stuff to hype, to give yourself some hype or something. You know, I don't know. And people typically do that. So, and it seems that Michael Jai White is no exception. Hey, what's up, brothers? What's up, y'all? Thanks for coming through. Please like and share on your way in. Please like and share on your way in. If you can too, they spread out and hit the cash app a little something, a little couple of dollars, you know what I mean, or whatever. So, you know, put in the Hanma force. But thank you, though, dear brothers, because, hey, $2, like, share, subscribing, it all gets me hyped. Amen. So, yes. Oh, man. So, Michael Jai White, brother, you got to stop, man. You got to stop it. There was a select things, you know, he was cool, you know, correct. Yeah. So yeah, we are invited by one of our brothers, brother Snowman. Snowman, thanks for coming through, brother.
Hey, brother, what's going on?
Hey, you there? Hey, bro.
How's it going, my friend?
Oh, all right, man. I just had to get into, you know, talking about Michael Jai White. I'm like, bro, like, come on, man, you got to stop saying some of this outrageous stuff. Because before we got to the last one, you know, where he was talking about the Shaolin Temple, you know, and how the new one now, you know, how the new one that is built, you know, it's a fake and stuff. Which dude makes a good point about that too, about how when something's renovated, you know, I mean, you don't call it a fake, you know, it's not the original, but it's the original.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so going back into like the first two, okay, the crazy thing what he was saying about Samuel Jackson and Denzel Washington. Now, I want to get you guys' opinion about that. Like what he said about that. Like how Samuel Jackson can play with no problem the roles that Denzel Washington played in.
You know, between those two, they bring different styles, and they bring different energy. Both is positive. All right, don't get it twisted. They're both positive, but they play the roles that are designed for them. You know, does that make any sense? They play the roles that's designed for them. Like, they're recognizable for the roles that they played, and I don't think they'd be able to play their others iconic roles. Like Samuel L. is Pitt from Pulp Fiction.
Well, yeah, but and keep in mind, this is what he said. You know, this is what Michael Jai White said. He said that Samuel Jackson can play those roles, and I kind of agree with him on half of those roles. But you know, roles like when it comes to Malcolm X, no. I don't think Samuel can play
that's Denzel all day. It's like I said, in some roles they can switch and won't be any problem, but some of the roles are so iconic, played by both actors, that you can't switch them.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, I'm like, dude, he's just. So, well, I mean, but some of those roles would be interesting. I mean, hell, he could play an equalizer though. You know?
Yeah, easy.
because Denzel is not doing no high class like martial arts shit that's on the same level as John Wick. I would say
exactly. Those they can interchange with no problem. Samuel L. will just probably have a few more cuss words in his dialogue, but that would be it. But as you mentioned, Malcolm X, no, that's Denzel all day.
You know what I mean? Come on, bro. Yeah, and the other video that I played of him was when he was talking about Francis Ngannou. I'm like, oh man, come on now, bro. Where's your faith in your brother, man? Where's your faith in your brother? You know,
the fight's not there. The fight is just not there. Crazy as it sounds, it's not there.
I'm like, you know, come on, bro. I'm like, come on, man. That's Francis Ngannou. Did y'all not see how hard, man, he be hitting? Dude, he hits with power. That man's arms is used to shoveling sand, motherfucker.
Yep.
His arms is used to shoveling sand now.
He's used to physical work. So that kind of role is no problem for him. Throwing that kind of punch is no problem for him.
Right. And and I'm like, okay, you know, there's a 5-inch difference, but you know, in their height, and it is right too. He do got those damn what he said, orangutan arms or something, but Tyson Fury.
Right.
But thing is though, look at that. Okay, that power. All you gotta do is boom with a tall motherfucker like that, and you carrying that power, you know, that's packed right there of his center. Boom, you can just ram those with those shots, man. You can hit them with those shots right there to the side to chop them down, and then down to enough size, boom, to cut off a few inches, and then that may come through with that power with one of those hooks. It's over with. It's over with. But see, the thing is, though, too, what we're looking at is also the difference in the glove sizes too, as well.
You gotta take the different sizes for the opponents all into consideration. You know, a guy like me at 6'5", fighting a guy 6'1", his gloves are going to be smaller. His boots are going to be smaller. Mine are going to be naturally larger because just of the size of my hands. You know, and my boots are going to be different because I wear a 15. So your boots have to be comfortable. Your equipment has to be comfortable. That's in any sport. Your equipment has to be comfortable, number one, and number two, it has to fit you. It has to fit you. And the same holds true for the roles that Samuel L. played and Denzel played. And I'll say once again, you can interchange them on a couple of roles, but they have so many iconic roles that they played separately that you can't switch them.
Or would it be, or can we say, would it be like a tarnishment of the role or something like that? Like, you know, making motherfucker just feel all uneased, you know, a little eerie about, okay, damn, why is he playing this role? It doesn't feel right. You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
That's exactly it. And plus, how would they feel about playing the other role? I know they would feel some kind of honor, but like you just said, would they feel right about it? Would they feel like they're tainting the role? You know?
Because I'll tell you what, man. Whew. Bro. Hey, and I read in the chats too as well. In a DJ Vlad too, that was where it was, you know, where those videos came from. And then and you know, that guy ranting. But in the comment section of DJ Vlad, you know, with his interviews with him, on one of his videos, I looked into the comment section and it was saying, one of the dudes was talking about how, Michael John White always talked this stuff about, you know, combating people and all that stuff, but never want to get into a contest, you know, actual contact sport, you know. Right. I'm like, dude, have you not seen this motherfucker's moves? I mean, there's undisputed and he's an actual trainer, you know, he's an actual teacher, sensei to a lot of people. Because of how he goes into breaking it down in his moves, you know, that he does, you know, and how you in helping you to making sure, you know, that you punch correctly. There's a correct way of how to punch and a kick. And man. And
there's a correct way. There's a correct way to do combat sports. And that's why those trainers are very, very rare and very, very special, because contact sport, A, is an individual sport, and B, it's a specialty. Combat sports is a specialty.
Yep.
I mean, look at the first trainer for Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
First trainer for Mike Tyson instilled in Mike to have no fear. None. But after he lost to Buster Douglas and his trainer died that same year, 1990, I beg your pardon, 1990, you noticed all that changed.
Yep, and shit. And also, too, what he said, too, about boxing, now that reminded me of what he said, was mind you, I'm taking this conversation outside because I can't really smoke like that on the inside because I don't want the house to be all, you know, smoky and shit, you know, smoke get on the walls and all that. But yeah, man, but dig it. Oh God. Well, what he said though about the heavyweight boxers was on key now, Brother Snowman, because he said basically that the problem a lot of heavyweights have now is that a lot of people are tired of is the whole, you know, trying to smother each other and shit. You know, that shit gets annoying. I'm like, oh man.
They reach out and grab. They don't want to box. They don't want to swing. It's as simple as that. They don't want to box.
I'm like sumo wrestlers put in more work than y'all motherfuckers. I'm like, come on, man. Real talk. Sumo wrestlers put in more work than y'all motherfuckers, and he's right about that. They had no damn technique and shit.
None.
And you know, they don't move. They just stand there and slug it out. I'm like, man, you damn right about that. He called it too. I'm thinking about looking at his video about why he said he don't go into contact sports, but it's not that important. I'm just, you know, a little curious about what Sensei MJ White said on that. But but I don't like. Well, I don't like what he said too in this one video. I do remember, if I can't quote him almost verbatim, where he said that he had to get out of this whole mode of thinking, of where he thought that you know, it was all about like sex and shit and dominating women or whatever. And he said, you know, in order for him to get married, he had to get out of that mindset.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? I'm like, that's like, you know, dominating one, but damn it, but you got to dominate to the degree to let it be known, motherfucker, hey, that shit, you gonna steer the ship,
right?
You know,
you gotta stay with it.
Yeah, you know what I mean, that you're letting it be known that nowhere near shape or form that you're gonna allow her to have a leash around your neck and shit, to try to emasculate you, to make you feel less than a man. So, you know, that's that part about it. You know, that's what I took it from the brothers, you know, that I first caught wind of this from, you know, the brothers I still listen to this day, you know, that said that, you know what I mean, that you have to dominate. Otherwise, you know what I mean, hell, how can you control chaos? You got to dominate chaos, you know, to control it in order to bring forth that wisdom, guidance, and structure.
And that's nothing but organized chaos. That's organized chaos, and you have to be in control of that. Absolutely.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So yeah, I just and then I got Rant in here, you know, our bald headed dude, you know, it was giving the facts with the Shaolin monk shit. I was like, damn, I didn't know some of that, man. He was spit. So, which also really intrigued me to want to put that out there, man. You know, because I think a lot of people, you know, needed to know that too, because it can be easy. You can be easy, you know, to take certain characters' words for like, you know, like they're solid, and especially with brothers like Michael J. White, you know. And hell, I was at first too when I first, you know, seen his interviews with those people, and some of the things he said. But some of the things he said I knew was automatically outrageous. But when it comes to like shit like the Shaolin monk, the temple, you know, the Shaolin temple, and yeah, I'm like, man, that ain't cool. So,
no, that's not.
But yeah, so what else is going on in the martial art world? Oh yeah, there's a martial art guy. I forgot his name. It was Kyle. That's from one of the UFC fights too. I've seen like the other night. I forgot what number it was. UFC 293 or one of them. But there was this one white guy. His name was Kyle, and he won. Bald-headed white guy. And his speech, you know, I mean, his little victory speech after he won, you know, he was like, hey, you know, I'm fighting for fathers, you know, and, you know, fathers deserve the right, you know, to have their kids, you know, to be in their kids' lives and shit. You know, the kids need to be with the father and shit. Yeah, man, I was like, yeah, I'm with that, man. Hell yeah, about time somebody, you know, got up and said that shit, you know.
I'm with that.
In their victory speech, you know what I mean? So I'm like, yeah, we need more of that, damn it. I think it was Daniel Cormier that was, you know, the commentator.
About time. Love publicly.
Yeah. Daniel Cormier was the one that was the commentator that went up there, you know, to give him his speech, his victory speech. You know what I mean? So I'm like, yeah, man, that's some shit, man. I'm like, yeah, that's what we need right there. More cats letting it be known, hey, of the need of fathers, you know.
Right.
Like the high need. Yeah, it's an emergency need, motherfucker. It's a high alert. We a high alert need for fathers. So yeah,
Very
for
popular.
him to announce that too in his speech, man, I was like, yeah, we need more guys that win in their victories, in their victory speeches. We need more of them saying some shit like that,
Absolutely.
because you don't know how many people, Brother Snowman, that I came across that are so oblivious to this shit. But now I'm believing that half of it is willful ignorance.
It is. It is willful ignorance, because I've been asked so many times why I speak about my dad and my granddad so much. Well, those are the two gentlemen that have shaped me.
Yeah.
The two guys that shaped me. They gave me my love for baseball. They gave me my love for sports. In fact, there's something that my wife wants to do, and I have to get to Chicago.
Hey, that's awesome.
Yep. I got to get to Chicago for a week to find a few pictures of my dad and a few of my granddad. And I have a few pictures of my daughter, God rest her soul, my baby girl, Donna.
Yeah,
and there's a collage that she wants. There's a collage that Jody wants to put together. I always speak about the important people in my life, and I always will. I had someone on my show actually write the comment, "No one wants to hear about that," when I was talking about my dad. My mods got rid of him quickly. My mods got rid of him very quickly because we weren't having that.
Yep. Real talk shit. So, hey. But yeah, man, what's your last thoughts, bro? I'm gonna keep this a little short, man. This one, I don't want to keep this one too long. But maybe on other subjects too that's coming. I have my review coming for Loki. I finished my review for the first episode. I'm about to watch the second and the third. So,
well, if I may be allowed to drop a quick promo, if y'all want some real sports talk, check out my channel, Snowman Multimedia, and please drop a like and subscribe to our brother Ray here. Let's get him. Let's really get him growing.
Oh yes. Thank you, dear brother. Yes, check out Brother Snowman too, his sports channel. Yes, because we need to advertise that more masculine sports. You know what I mean? And where man gets shit accomplished. And just bask in the glory of that.
Absolutely.
and all this glorious masculinity.
Absolutely, we need to bask in it more. We need to bask in it a whole lot more.
Oh yes, amen. Get something done and have beers afterwards.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So don't forget, y'all, to like, share, subscribe. One versus a million. Yes, this is your guy Ray Hanma, and thank you, Brother Snowman, again for coming through. Appreciate you, dear brother. Thank you.
Hey, I appreciate you, and I love you, brother. Thanks for allowing me up for a minute. I appreciate it.
Yes, love you too. May the Most High God bless you and your family, dear brother.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
All right. Peace, y'all. And don't forget to hit the Cash App too if y'all feel so generous. Ray Hanma, Cash App. One versus a million. I'm out.